People keep saying the hands-off protests were so peaceful, like that's some kind of surprise. But if you're white like me, you need to think about what actually made that possible. White people, you really need to sit with this. The protests were peaceful because we were the ones in the streets.
So you're hearing that the hands-off April 5th protests yesterday were so peaceful and everything was great and there was like no violence, no escalation, and that it was also predominantly white people, predominantly white women. Here's the thing. Here's the really important point. It is not that the people who were in attendance yesterday, right, the predominantly white people, the predominantly white women, are inherently more peaceful and law-abiding, and they just know how to do it, right? That's not the reality, okay? It is because they were met with a different level of force, being none, like a lack thereof, as opposed to when movements are predominantly about and backed up by people of color, right? Queer people, especially black people, especially black women. They are met with a different level of force, not only by police, but by like random conservative militia groups that were showing up every single day at the BLM protests. Like, there is a stark difference, not in the way in which the protesters are protesting, but a stark difference in the way in which power and force and violence, especially state-sanctioned, is responding to the protests themselves. That has to be a very, very important distinction that we make, because this is not a failing of other movements. This is a failing of our police presence, of the militias, of the power and force and violent force therein. Ultimately, who gets to protest peacefully and who gets met with extreme and violent force is not due to the protesters themselves. It is far more a reflection of power and control rooted in racism. And it's horrific. And yesterday we saw the stark contrast between what it looks like to be a white body versus what it looks like to be a black body in places, in public spaces where you are allowed to protest and talk about your humanity and your rights. We saw a difference. And again, it's not because of the protesters. It's because of the force in which they were met.
Clear cut, period. No more discussion. She said it right. She nailed it on the head. Tell me something more than what she said. I'll be waiting. No, because we are talking white people calling out each other on their own shit. That is it right there. It's not that it's few people that came. I tell you, if it was even 10 black people on the streets, FBI, CIA, the Navy SEALs, these that they go and bring from different countries to help them fight the WARs that they go to in different countries, they will be on the ground.
Black, brown, and indigenous folks stayed home, not because they don't care, but for two reasons. One, it's not safe for them to show up. Two, it's not their problem to fix. We've all seen what happens when marginalized people show up in big numbers. Suddenly, it's tear gas, rubber bullets, arrest, and just straight up violence. So yeah, the protests were peaceful, but it wasn't because the system listened better. It's because whiteness made it safe for us to show up. And while we're naming things, let's be real. White people put 45 in office, not black voters, not brown voters, not indigenous voters, us. We built this system. We keep it running, and too many white folks are still clinging to it out of comfort, denial, or fear of giving up power. So if you're white and feeling proud that the protests were peaceful, cool. But ask yourself, what are you doing with that safety your skin gives you? Are you showing up when it matters most, or just when it's comfortable? Because this fight, this is our fight, not just in solidarity, but in accountability. 45 is a white problem. The system is a white problem, and it's on us to dismantle it.
These people, they fear y'all. They fear you. No, they fear you. Why do they fear you so much? You can't fear nothing that has no power over you. What power do black people have on white people in America that I've not understood? No, because it's giving they're so intimidated. You have hundreds of thousands of white people matching, and am I lying? Y'all tell me in the comment section if I'm lying, but I don't think I'm lying. Ain't no way I'm lying, because y'all know she said the right thing. She said the right thing. Police was non-existent. Violence was non-existent. By the way, there were no people to incite it. You know what I mean? They white people themselves, their popo, if it was there, it was gonna incite violence. If it was black people marching. I ain't seen no guns. Hey, man, don't pussy, man, don't pussy. Man, go this side, man, be slow. Where did you see it? Did you see it anyway? Absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. There's no, if you don't stand back, man, I will, no. If 5 black people woke up and said, we are going to march in Central Park for the ducks or the penguins that were put tariffs on by DJT, every Navy SEAL will be there. But here we are, we have hundreds of, they are walking around there, they're marching. And you know what? Even the government doesn't care. Even the government doesn't care. First things first, it really shows the deep-rooted racism in the protection system, in the police system, in the defense system, that when it's black people, that's when you come out. You want to show your presence. You want to show force because of the stereotypes. And also, number 2, it's giving, maybe it was just not impactful, like they had to sit at home, do whatever they wanted to do because they knew. They're just gonna march in some buckets and drink some ice cold water and some popsicles on the streets. And Trump must be impeached. Trump must go down. Trump must go. That's why they sat. Because they knew it was useless. Even they knew it was useless. They didn't see any reason why they had to come out. But she said it the best way. She said it the best way because that's the reality right there. Yeah. Okay, let's wake up one day and say, black people, we are now going to wake up and go and march for a chilling day. We just want a chilling day, not even to be put on the calendar, but we want a chilling day like next year. That has to be put maybe on our menstruals. Let's say it's women, so that like we can have a menstruation day where we celebrate womanhood. Everyone and their father, the helicopters will be up. America is a movie. America is a movie. But y'all, let me tell you, these people, they fear y'all. They fear you. No, they fear you. Why do they fear you so much? You can't fear nothing that has no power over you. What power do black people have on white people in America that I've not understood? No, because it's giving, they're so intimidated. You have hundreds of thousands of white people marching, and even white people can't take their own white people serious. Even Donald Trump couldn't take y'all serious. How would he take y'all serious?